So, been meaning to do a video about my bagged GS430. But the car actually leaves tomorrow to go to its new owner in South Dakota. So I figured before it leave, do a little video about the car, how I got it, and some other details. So, car's a 2001 GS430. It's full Vertex aero, legit Vertex. It's got custom headlights, retrofitted projectors, color match the car. It does have LED rings around it that change colors through an app on my phone. Full sheet metal wide body. Car's filthy right now because it's just been sitting outside. Another reason I'm getting rid of it, because I don't really drive it. One-off custom fenders. Has some really cool vents in them. Wide bodied as well. Custom handmade roof spoiler. Tail lights have been shaded on the trunk. LED tails, I think they're just some cheap tails. Some pretty cool exhaust there, VIP. Car had a full color change done. As you see, jams and all are done. Let's see here. Underside of the trunk, everything. So the only thing that was not really completed on this car is the trunk. Trunk's kind of gutted. But as you see there, airlift V3 system, dual Whitaker compressors, pretty decent setup. It's got some Serial 9 stuff under it, Serial 9 camber plates. Let's get inside here. I actually got to pull this thing up to the garage because I got to pull the steering wheel out before I let it go. So before I show or tell anything else about this car, the way I got this thing, we'll go back to the start, which is a few years ago I had a 73 Chevy Nova, which I traded a Craftsman toolbox for. Big, stainless, like double bank, nice box. Which that I traded a Sega 12 shotgun for. The shotgun I traded a set of wheels for, and the wheels I originally paid like $350 for. Actually, no, let me backtrack. I got the shotgun on a deal, trading my S13, or traded my IS300 I had for an S13 Vert. The gun was given to me on top. The other Sega 12 that I actually still have is the one I traded wheels for. Okay, anyway. So, got a gun on top of a car deal. Gun for toolbox for Nova. I actually put a lot of time in the Nova, cleaned it up, fixed it up, restored it. The Nova actually got stolen from the parking lot at my old shop, and turn this AC on while I'm sitting here. And like 7 months went by and I got the car back. It was still in one piece, wasn't missing anything. Kept the car for another couple of years. Traded it for a international toter home that I was going to use to pull my drift cars and stuff, but ended up making the decision I'm just going to stick with my Cummins and my open trailer. There's no need to go toter home and a stacker or big 40-something foot gooser. I've been doing this for 10 years with a truck and open trailer, so I'm not going to change it up. So the toter home I ended up putting a little bit of money in, and then traded it to a friend of mine, Jonathan Nairn, for an LS RX-8 project, a 350Z parts car, and a fully built SR S13 coupe that was super nice. And there were some other details on our deal as well. The SR car ended up blowing up second day I had it. Ended up cracking the block right by the coolant jackets in between each cylinder. Pretty upset about that, and got pissy, parked it, tore the head off, seen how bad it was, and ended up deciding I'm just going to sell this car the way it sits or try to trade it, whatever. Had like 4 people flake. I had a guy offer me a badass IS300. He flaked. I had a guy offer like $7,500 cash the way it's set. I accepted it. He actually sent a $250 deposit and then went ghost, and couldn't find him on Facebook, so not sure what happened. But hey, free $250, whatever. Couple other deals flake. Ended up getting pissed off and said, to hell with it. Posted a car. Said, all right, time for this car to go. Somebody trade me something that I can daily drive. Traded it even for a R32 Skyline sedan. NA, auto, bone stock. Super clean, no rust whatsoever. Interior was pretty mint. Engine bay was clean, had 46,000 kilometers on it, so that's like no miles. Ended up buying some coilovers, some Grady coils from a buddy of mine, Callie Mackey. Bought some wheels from another friend of mine, Justin Monteith. And that's really it. I put all new stereo in it and put like $400 or $500 into a new fuel pump, plugs, oil change, just fixing, doing some maintenance stuff to the car, whatever. Started daily driving the car, had it tagged, registered, insured, all that good stuff. And it started developing an issue where it would randomly just shut off here and there. And I just got pissed off, fed up with it, parked the car, listed it for sale. I listed it for like 10 grand or something. Ended up going to Georgia for a drift event. I had to pick up some tires from Jerry Yang. I pull up, this Lexus is sitting there, and I'm like, holy shit, this thing is sick. Absolutely love it. Fell in love with it. And started talking to the guy, and I was like, man, I'd love to have it. He's like, oh, it's for sale, you know. Like, I can't remember if it said 13,000 or 15,000, whatever. Guy's name is Tommy. And I was like, man, even if I sold my R32, I still couldn't afford to buy it. I said, be cool to have. He's like, oh, you got R32? I was like, yeah, whatever. He said, man, tell me it's a sedan. So I was like, yeah, it's actually a sedan, clean car, NA auto. And he was like, oh, the NA part don't really bother me, but I wish it wasn't an auto. I was like, well, I'll try to find you a swap. I said, if I find a turbo swap to go with the car and a manual swap, would you trade? He's like, yeah, for sure. So I get home after the drift event. I was trying to find like an RB20, like a basic cheap swap, which I didn't realize how expensive RBs are now, by the way. So the market's definitely changed on those. Literally a couple days later, got offered a full RB25 swap, manual swap, 5 lug. The R32 was 4 lug, keep in mind, because it was a base model. It was a GTE. I don't know. It was a base model. So got offered an RB25 swap, manual trans, harness, ECU, full swap, a 5 lug conversion with R33 GTR brakes. Okay, cool. I got offered all of that for the LS RX-8 project car that I had gotten on the trade deal with the 240 as well. And it's just an RX-8 roller, CX Racing swap kit, a junkyard 5.3, and I had like an LS1 car intake, some random accessories, a rebuild kit. They're not a rebuild kit, but just like a couple of knick-knack things for the 5.3, a cam, push rods, just random shit that I had laying around. I was trying to clean my shop out anyway. So we agreed on an even trade. Cool. I hit up Tommy and said, hey, I actually picked up a full RB25 that comes with some goodies. And I said, now I've actually got a 5-lug swap and GTR brakes. So I would take the GS430 and a little bit of cash for everything, and I'll come to you. We agreed on it. He actually PayPal'd me a deposit right then on the cash that we had discussed. And the next day, loaded up, went to Georgia, and picked this thing up. There's the pull this thing up to the shop. Change the steering wheel because this Nardi that's in it is not going with it. I actually picked up a nice, clean OEM newer Lexus wheel. So I'm gonna miss this car. So I don't know if you can hear it. It's not real loud. Pretty quiet. So I've had this Lexus since February-ish, so I've only had it 4 months roughly. Put some miles on it and had some issues out of it. Not mechanically, the issues I've had were I've cracked the wheels a couple times just because it's 13 degrees camber and you barely hit anything and it will crack an inner barrel. And the guy that's getting it, I let him know that. He understands completely. The car wasn't perfect when I got it. You can see the chip on the bumper there. The bumper had some issues. It hasn't sustained any damage since I've got it other than the wheels cracking, but that's just shit that happens. So, yep. Had a guy, I made a post about possibly letting this thing go and got offered a CTSV for it. Kind of tempting because I had a CTSV a couple years ago, loved it. And long story short, everybody talked me out of it because this car is worth more than a semi-ish first-gen CTSV. And my first gen that I had, I broke it more than I drove it. Kept breaking axles, diffs, whatever. So, decided against that. Got offered a 600 and something horsepower turbo LS FCRX7. Was actually going to do that and put that swap in the LSG and then move my aluminum block LS1 to my 240 and be good to go. So there we go. Grabbed it off the shelf. Ended up not doing that either because a friend of mine made a comment about, I'll trade you my car. It's like, he's probably just joking around. Plus, he's way on the other side of the U.S., and I don't have time to do a deal like that. So we messaged, we talked, and we actually worked a deal. Not going to say what that car is in this video. I will do a whole nother video about that car specifically once it arrives, which should be tomorrow. So, yeah, get that. I'll show you guys that when it gets here. But the GS430 is a Super 6 car. It's gotten a lot of attention. I've drove it to a couple of meets. Definitely been a huge hit at meets. Car's got LS400, I believe, front brakes that have been powder coated to kill, like super sick, like lime metallic green. A lot of people have asked in my time on it, what color is this? This is BMW Atlantis Blue. That's what came on the newer M3s. I'll sit this here while I do this steering wheel deal. So enjoyed the car. It's been great. If I don't drive something, I end up losing interest in it. And I definitely didn't drive this car as much as I should have, because it's not practical to drive. The only times I actually daily drove it was when my truck was broken, which thankfully hasn't been a lot here recently. So pretty cool. Truck's been doing good for me. But yeah, I didn't change much on this car because Tommy put a lot of work into this thing and I didn't want to fuck it up. I was going to change the wheels, take the work equips off, which the specs on these wheels, by the way, are 19 by 11 negative 27 and 19 by 12 negative 57, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's what Tommy told me. They have 5-inch lip up front, 6-inch in the rear. Chrome, legit chrome faces. One part's off. And yeah, polished lips, etc., etc. But just gonna put Bezzerias or Hardits on it or something VIP-ish. But yeah, not really happening now because don't need the car. But gonna miss it. It's been a killer car to own. So I will do a video on what I got when it gets here. Oh, the car also, you can't really see it, but it's got underglow on it. Do one more walk around before I close this video down. Like, the wheels are covered in spider webs because I never drive it. The one thing I do have to take off this car, I can't remember if I told the new owner or not, but I have to keep the battery. I gotta swap the batteries out because I'm sponsored by the great people at Full Throttle Battery, and the battery that's in this car was given to me on my sponsor deal, so really don't need to let it go. But yeah, so this is the GS430 that I haven't kept too long, and hate to see it go, but time to turn the page and get something different to play with that will probably end up getting traded also in time. So I'm gonna get the steering wheel swapped out, and that's the GS430. If anybody has any questions about the car, want to know exact details and specs on it, comment. I'll answer as soon as I can. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. I will do more videos on my other toys that I have, like the Cummins on 26x14s, my dirt car that I'm building. And if you look on the channel, there's plenty of videos on the off-road Lexus, which is currently broken still because I'm lazy. And in the middle of rebuilding my LS G35 because the 5.7 spun a bearing. Got a 6-liter here that I'm going to freshen up for it. I was going to just throw the 6-liter in, but come to find out it had burnt cam bearings and a damaged oil pump and timing set. And then we got my S13, which I plan on putting back together at some point. My supercharged VK56, former Formula Drift Pro 1 car, way back in the day, which actually leaves to go see a friend of mine named Keith Johnson, which is going to try to figure out some wiring issues and get this car running like it should so we can use it for some Pro-Am competition next year. And then this is Alice, my Supra, which is pretty hefty built car, HKST 51 turbo. Sounds beautiful. So that's some of my street cars, race cars, whatever. I've got more, but they're more or less projects and shit I'm probably never gonna touch. Like, let's see, out under the barn I have a caged wide body G35 roller, caged 240 coupe. Over here is another G35 that needs a motor. And then if anybody's local to me, I'm near Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm actually in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but nobody knows where Rock Hill is, so I guess I live in Charlotte. I've got IS 300 parts cars and G35 parts cars. So if anybody ever needs any parts, I got you. So that's going to conclude this video. Got a storm rolling in, so I'm going to get the steering wheel swapped out and go put some fuel in this thing. Just a little bit low on fuel. I want to make sure whenever new owner gets it, he can hop in it and roll. Go ahead and clean it out. Get all my stuff out of it. That way it is ready to go. Pull my tag. Yada, yada, yada. So that's it. So with that being said, y'all stay safe, have fun. Comment below with anything you want to see. If you want to see specific vehicles that I showed, build details, etc. And going drifting here in a couple of weeks. So have another episode about the drift event and how it goes. Not sure what car I'm going to be taking. That will be discussed in the next video as well. So y'all stay safe, have fun, and keep it sideways.